I used to be rather ravenous, and I've calmed down.
But why?
Hookups aren't as fun as they used to be. One-time things don't have the same allure. However, I don't believe in monogamy because anyone who has a penis just simply does not have the ability to think with one head.
How the hell are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you for asking. How are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm sober. I'm trying to fix that.
I'll meet you where you're at.
You're going to sober up?
Yeah, I'm sober now. You've ever been pulled over? You figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't drive anymore.
Oh.
By choice.
Okay. I was just about that. Like, did the state insist that you don't drive anymore?
Yeah, no, by choice.
I've definitely had those moments where it's just like, oh, God, I'm going to jail right now. Hello.
Not bragging. Pulled over 3 times. All 3 times. Don't remember. No DUIs. 3 speeding tickets.
Hey, that's a good consolation prize.
And now I'm 30, so we don't do that anymore. We've learned.
That the car knows the way home now, right?
I'm not that tax bracket. And I won't pretend to be either.
In due time.
Fuck that guy.
There's other self-driving cars out there.
Are there? I don't know shit about cars.
They exist, I think. I mean, not that I would actually...
You sound also very informed on the subject.
And I actually do own a Tesla. I just not dropping $15,000 for the car to drive itself.
Well, I heard that it was like in its beta form still, and people were like using it, and it was just driving into oncoming traffic and stuff. So it's really not.
No, it's not good.
Yeah, no bueno, not yet.
No,
we're not there yet. At the Jetsons level.
No, definitely not. And the disclaimer on the car is like, it's in beta. If it was any other piece of software, it would not be beta. But because we feel it's a vehicle, it's in beta. It's like, cool. I want to trust my life to this.
Yeah, that's one way to explain things away.
It's like, oh, this just kills a few people a year. It's fine. It's in beta.
Yeah, so does cigarettes. Those are fine for you. You can have them when you're pregnant, you know? You could do whatever you want.
It's good for the fetus.
Yeah.
Builds character.
Yeah. Your immune system.
Exactly. If you don't try your immune system, it needs to be worked out.
Yeah, it's a must. It's like a muscle.
I mean, that's how it works, right?
Uh-huh.
Also, not a doctor.
I'm a scientist.
Oh, a lot of experimentation?
Good one. No.
Whole scientific method.
So bland. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was beginning to tell you earlier. So I had a bit of a moment. Like I had said off camera, I enjoy drinking. I really was craving this cocktail that I have every time I go to Manhattan. I make it a point to have lunch at the Russian Tea Room, and they have something called a Rasputin, and it has chartreuse in it.
Nice.
And I was not aware chartreuse was like kind of hard to get a hold of, but I had to go to 5 different liquor stores to get a bottle. And it was in a celebratory manner. It wasn't because I woke up on a Tuesday and had a craving, but for a celebration, I wanted a Rasputin, and I made it happen.
What are we celebrating?
Oh, I actually can't really talk a whole lot about it.
You told me there was nothing off limits. What?
I'm working on a project, and I've accumulated the team that is going to be executing it, and we're all really excited. So I wanted to have a nice celebratory cocktail.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When are you releasing the team, or are they just locked up somewhere?
No, they've got their own apartment. I don't have to worry about their rent or feeding them.
Oh, feeding them's a bit more. I'm like, if you're holding them hostage, you don't really have to pay rent for them, but you do have to feed them occasionally. Yeah. I've been led to believe it.
Well, unless I'm taking their home.
Oh, the home invasion route.
I'm doing the Columbus route, where I just say, I discovered this apartment, this home with all the property taxes taken care of.
Right? I mean, that's very common here in LA these days.
Yeah, property taxes, yeah.
Well, the discovering people's homes.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know. Different tax bracket.
Oh, No. I don't think that's a tax bracket requirement one. There's just a lot of people like, oh, this home's for sale? We're going to squat in it. It's ours now.
Oh, squatters. Yeah, California has squatters' rights. That's so crazy. How cool.
I mean, unless you're the homeowner. Or the neighbors who are like, because there's a famous one like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so, like throwing crazy parties at like some mansion in the hills that they're squatting in.
No way. That's insane.
And like, I would be a little upset if I had a multi-million-dollar home if like the next door was being squatted by people just being like, what?
What are you gonna do? It's Los Angeles, baby. You just reminded me. I think that happened to Liza Minnelli's house. She had a mansion for like decades that she didn't own, or it was Vincent Minnelli's house and then she owned it, but she didn't live there. So it was just this huge mansion that a bunch of homeless people were living in. How fun, glamorous. I'd like to squat in Liza Minnelli's house.
Let's make it happen.
A deserted mansion. No, I think they sold it. They bulldozed it.
She's got to have another house.
She's hanging out in Manhattan, living out her final days, and I'm proud of her.
Okay, so we got a road trip to go do it, huh?
Sounds good. I'll bring a dozen roads.
I mean, we'll definitely need a car. Because neither one of us will. Awesome. Neither one of us will know how to legally drive to Manhattan at that point. So,
yeah, I'm not doing that.
Aw.
I'm not going to drive. No, I won't do it.
Well,
I'll call the car.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be an epic road trip. Just road tripping to Manhattan to take over Liza Minnelli's apartment.
One could only be so lucky.
No. This is a skill-based quest, not a luck-based quest.
I need to get into D&D. It's just there's so much overlap between adult performers and D&D that I am guffawed that there isn't like a bigger campaign happening right now.
There's a handful of them.
There's little ones. Why isn't it being picked up by someone? That should be happening on a much grander scale.
I play in a campaign run by performers, and
no, it can't be run by the performers.
Well, that's what I was about to get at.
Oh, no, we can't even get out of bed before noon.
Oh, I know. That's why
I don't. I'm not a fan.
Same.
Out of 5 stars, I'd give it 2.
I mean, there's a reason I was yawning at 7 o'clock at night.
You haven't had your espresso martini. Has Max brought it out yet?
No.
Okay. I'll wait.
Just doxing me that I have a staff. I can't blame all my mistakes on me if you let them know I have a staff.
Max.
Well, that actually brings me to something I wanted to mention.
Age.
Oh.
And a lack of general care. It's a symbol. It's a status symbol more than anything else.
That's right. I'm better than all you other barely legal adults.
Them, but also everyone else I went to high school with. Except for the girl who should have run prom queen. She was actually really nice. I liked her. She deserved it, but I took it.
She should have run a better campaign.
I actually did have a really great campaign. I went and had a whole photo shoot with my friend. I don't know if I'm allowed to say her name. And she took the photos, Teal Gordon. And then we put up huge posters all over the school. And 2 of them did get vandalized, which was kind of cool. I was screaming and trying, you have to invest in your own promotion. So when it got vandalized, I made it a big to-do. And then instead of vandalizing it, they just like tore it down and ripped it into like little pieces. That's the point. All publicity is good publicity, So
this is why I tell people to come do the show. Otherwise,
winning. Hashtag winning.
Right? But when I saw, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she is the very first prom queen who has ever been on the fucking show. Because cheers to that, by the way.
Yeah, Mazel Tov. I didn't want to bump your big old mic.
I appreciate that. You're following the first rule: no post work.
There you go.
And it was just like, oh yeah, of course you didn't play a lot of D&D. You were popular enough to win prom queen.
Video games and like all the what's it called, RPG stuff, that kind of passed me by. I was friends with all the people who were involved in that, but I, as an individual, wasn't participating in it. I was too busy hanging out with the art teacher going thrifting in WeHo. Or no, it wasn't WeHo. It was Wilton Manors, because I'm from Fort Lauderdale. And I did, at 16 years old, go thrifting with my art teacher in Wilton Manors, and it was super fun. But that's what I was up to. They were, playing
D&D.
Call of Duty and all that jazz. And I wish I would have participated more, because now I see so many people in the adult industry, that's their escapism. That's their way of decompressing after a scene. And I've tried. I at my sister's wedding, we were playing Mortal Kombat, which I grew up playing, and the remote, it physically is different now. It's like if you jiggle it, it does things. Like it's so foreign now. My 10-year-old nephew beat my ass, and I was Sindel. I was in the zone. And it wasn't.
You can't compete with those 10-year-old reflexes.
No. Well, their brains have been calibrated to it. He was an iPad kid. They all are now. They're all iPad kids now.
That's right. They can't have conversations, but they'll beat the brakes off you in video games.
Well, unless, you should reproduce, Fortunately enough, my sister, who had my nephews, is one of the people who should reproduce. And my nephews are hilarious. Very, very cultured young gentlemen.
Very nice.
I can't speak for most people's children.
Most people should not.
They really shouldn't. I'm choosing not.
I am too.
The second my balls dried up, I said, good riddance to old rubbish. It ends with me.
Same. I went and got a vasectomy last year or so.
That's
2 years
terrific.
ago. 2 years ago now. Shit.
Good for you.
Oh yeah. Should have done it years ago.
Well, you paid for the abortions. Who cares?
I did not actually. I honestly, I've said this plenty of times. Like, I probably should have gotten a fertility check before I got because I've never had a scare, not once.
Oh, that's cool.
No, it's kind of like, did I just waste a bunch of money? Well, waste.
I didn't even think that.
Was I shooting blanks this whole fucking time?
Yeah, I would avoid one snip, but better safe than sorry.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Diet cream pies for all.
Oh. No aspartame though, so it's worth it.
I mean, I don't know how my load tastes. It's probably not great based on my diet, but
Oh, that does make sense. Yeah. It makes a huge difference.
Oh, I know.
I don't fuck with people who smoke cigarettes anymore, which sucks because I love the aesthetic of it, but I'm not down for tasting battery acid. It's disgusting.
I'm worse.
Bad.
I'm a cigar smoker.
It's been years. They used to smoke a lot of cigars at the strip club I worked at in Florida. I feel like now smoking has become so discouraged. You don't meet a lot of people who actively smoke, let alone a cigar. Do you go to a cigar club?
It's been a while. I literally was having a cigar right before you walked in.
Oh, fun.
It's part of my pre-show ritual.
I didn't smell it.
Oh yeah, I'm not a monster. I'm not doing it in the house.
You're not a Floridian.
Thank God. No offense.
No, none taken. You're right.
I've spent a lot of time in Southern Florida. I'm okay.
I like visiting for a few days.
I haven't been back in over a decade, and I'll be in Expos Miami for the first time in
I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I've decided I am going to go this year. I was debating on it. I wasn't going to. And then my friend was like, this is the first year I actually might go. So we're going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to be as present as I was in years past because there's a lack of a gay presence at Expos Miami this year, which I'm not super thrilled about. And I like hanging out with the gays. They're more fun. Straight people are lovely. I have sex with them all the time, but they're awful table talk.
Hey,
boring.
I'm
not, sorry, I can't speak on your behest.
Oh, whatever. I'm not offended.
Good.
I'm not.
To each their own. Yeah, straight people are kind of boring, and they just don't have the life experience that queer people are forced to experience, and I find it gives them a lack of character.
I'm not offended by that.
Yeah.
Trauma.
That's why most comedians had horrible childhoods.
Oh, yeah.
Because as Joan Rivers said, you have to laugh through your tears.
Oh, and this is why I said, like, if I ever did have a kid, I'd make an amazing artist.
Because
I got some generational trauma that I could do.
Yeah, I got to get it out. That's a good point.
But I don't want to do that.
No. It's like the argument, well, if they had antidepressants, Van Gogh wouldn't have made Starry Night. And it's like, does that excuse that he killed himself?
As I'm drinking out of a Van Gogh glass.
Yeah, like, I think things exist in a bubble. Certain things, that's why I'm successful at adult film, I think, because I'm able to compartmentalize. And certain things just sort of have to exist within and of themselves. And every situation is subjective.
Oh, 100%. That is one of the problems with modern society. Everyone lost nuance.
Oh my God, yes. Nuance. Every situation has nuance. I talked about it in the last podcast that I had done, that like what I did at that time was not necessarily considered ethical because I wasn't able to consent or whatever. I was 17, but I'm still grateful for it. So I think there's nuance to the conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that happened. Granted, I haven't lived my entire life yet, so maybe my opinion will change.
But
I don't think it will.
Oh my God. That's an acceptable thing to do. Then you're not a static human being, like static, stuck in your fucking ways. Like you were potentially present new information down the road, and like I changed my mind because I was presenting new information.
Yeah, I try not to speak towards things that I'm not informed about, which is also something that I think people should practice.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I am Jewish. I didn't say shit about Israel and Gaza because I don't know enough about global politics.
I'm not informed enough.
Exactly.
I'm not informed enough. I've been trying to learn more, and every time I try and learn more, I'm from Florida, like automatically there's a bias there, but all of my friends are very much in one camp, and I'm like, okay, I need to understand both sides. And I think I have a more informed opinion, but I still think it's not bad. I'm doing the Dolly Parton route. Yeah. I have opinions that I think are very clear, and if you can't read between the lines, then you probably can't read.
There are some illiterate people out there.
Bless you. Dolly Parton's Children's Library can send you out one book per month until you graduate high school.
She is such a saint.
She really is. She should be. She should be canonized as a saint. She really should.
Yeah, but do you really want to associate her with the Catholic Church?
I don't think she was.
No.
She knows better.
Right? Like, she actually does good in this world.
Well. Oh, God bless the Catholics. They're trying.
Are they?
Not well.
I mean, I thought they were just trying to gobble up property. Oh, yeah.
Amongst other things.
I'm a little bit of an anti-theist at times.
Well, yeah. Is that Anne Margaret? I don't recognize anyone in that painting except for Anne. Top right.
Oh, yeah, probably. That's a...
It's not. It's Archie in the corner.
Sort of.
What the fuck is going on in that?
It's from...
the Supremes? I just realized that makes no sense. What's that, Dolph Lundgren?
No, it's from a comic book called Criminal.
Yep.
And it follows various generations of a criminal family. They're actually turning it into a TV show.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love Anne Margaret. She's still alive. She used to shop at the mall I did makeup at.
Did you ever take care of her?
No, but I did get to meet Jennifer Coolidge. She was really, really sweet.
I've heard nothing but good things.
I can't imagine anyone would say anything negative, and if they do, we'll shoot them.
Your Florida's coming out.
I will defend Jennifer until the death. She's a wonderful human.
I mean, she's the reason MILF is an expression.
I mean, I don't want to attribute everything to her, but yeah, she was Stifler's
mom, yeah.
The archetype. And wasn't she like 35, 38 when she did that?
Yeah.
So It's amazing.
Sean William Scott was probably not young enough to actually be her child at that point.
Yeah, but I was actually just watching a movie before I came over, Mamie Stover, or The Revolt of Mamie Stover, and Jane Russell was playing a 26-year-old, and she was 35 at the time, and it kind of like contextualized. It's always been okay for people to play younger, and it's weird that we're in a place where now it's the inverse, and like the third role I'd ever had, I was playing someone's stepmom, and they were older than me. My stepdaughter was older than me, which not by much, but principle.
Right.
Weird that in porn we have to play older. I did a scene with I fuck up her name every time, but Siren Demure. Siren Demure. And she was playing a grandmother, and I was like, how do you feel about that? Being a gilf. She's like, as long as the check clears.
It's acting.
Yeah, it's acting. And that's such a great mindset to have, and it really helped me form how I feel about, being a MILF. But what's funny is that when I started, I had less filler than I do now. So I feel like I read a little bit younger than I did 2 years ago. So now I get to play younger roles as I've gotten older.
Well, and the industry's whole like, oh, you're a MILF at 25 if you've had any work done is so wild.
For the cis girls, yeah. It is kind of sad. They will actively tell female performers, don't get your boobs done. We want you to have a flat chest until you become of MILF age. Or if you get your boobs done, you will not get to be in the collegiate category.
Or a teen role,
well, teen. At what point are you enabling bad behavior and where is the line when you're just exploring a fetish,
when the
Because
money stops coming in.
Well, we're going to learn a lot within the next couple years with the way that the industry is going. This will be interesting.
Oh,
yeah. It'll be a real learning curve for a lot of people, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Because I think, well, you know what? No, it's always been undulating, the industry.
Oh, yeah.
You had it was only going and watching things in a theater. And then you had at-home video. And then you went from VHS to DVD.
Well,
and then you go from DVD to internet or vice versa. And now it's you got OnlyFans running.
Well, and also with the type of content that was created at the time, it's like in the theaters, you only had features. You didn't have any gonzo content in the theaters.
Yes. Yeah. It was all narrative.
Right.
And I am fortunate enough to have worked with Joey Silvera several times, one of the originators of the term gonzo genre. And it truly was so eye-opening working with him because it was so vastly different to anything else I've done in studio. I was in the infancy of my career when I had worked with him, but it was still very apparent to me that what was happening was unique and it was different, and I'm grateful for it. He made me a better performer for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to Joey. He's an incredible director and a very lovely gentleman.
Not every set you can walk away from and be like, I learned something today. And there are definitely plenty of sets where it's just like, well, that was a paycheck.
And I like aspects of those too.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. That wasn't a negative.
But no, well, it is a negative. But but you're absolutely right. There are days where I will show up and I'll have, okay, I put on my big girl panties. Today's, you're going to get through today. And then I'm in the bathroom shooting my dick up and I'm just like, okay, at the end of the day, you're going to get to have Shake Shack. You earned it. You're going to have rent. That's something more than what you could say 20 years ago when they were turning the lights off. I come from humble beginnings, but I'm grateful for those days, because yes, it's a paycheck, but it's also me having autonomy and having the ability to take care of business, and I'm grateful for it. I'm glad I don't have a 9 to 5 where I know exactly what I'm going to make at the end of every single week, because if I need to work a little bit harder, I can figure it out. But I am afforded a certain luxury. I'm cognizant that I got pretty privilege.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think so.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but I do think that it is a luxury and it is a thing that is not afforded to a lot of people. And you should be cognizant that it is there and it is a privilege.
I agree that you should be cognizant, but like intelligence, athletic ability, many other things in life just come to people.
That's true.
Life's not fair. Life's not equal.
Life's not fair. I think more people need to be told that a little bit more often.
Life's not fair. So if you happen to be pretty, why the fuck not take advantage of it?
Use it, but also it would be nice if you weren't a piece of garbage and you try to make life easier for other people as opposed to make it worse.
Well, that goes for everybody.
Yeah. I think not enough people do that part, though.
Well, yeah, because we live in a society where the individual, we're consumers and the individual is valued. There's a lot of what I want is what, is important, not necessarily what benefits society as a whole.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Me. Yeah. We're in a very self-centered industry, but also society that's all about what's going to benefit me. There's not a lot of selfless people who are worried about the greater good.
No.
The greater good. You seen Hot Fuzz?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Greater good.
No, and that's...
Who was the villain in that movie? Greater good.
I mean...
Not good.
Definitely.
I think that was the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Like, who is bad here?
Well, yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was in high school. I might be wrong.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely some villainous characters in it, but...
Murder.
But it's one of those things where, like, most people are, if it's written right, are not cartoonishly villainous. They think that they're doing right in their own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. The film that we were celebrating, the reason why I have my Rasputin is because we're doing a film noir.
Oh.
A true, authentic noir. And we're working on the fine details of it to figure out, like, contextually how noir we're going to go.
Are you going neo-noir or, like, noir?
We haven't decided.
Okay.
I think I want to do hard or, like, real. Oh, that's why. The new iPhone, you have to, like, hold down the button as opposed to switching it. I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't like it. But I think we're going to do, like, true homage, like, noir.
Some Maltese Falcon.
Yeah. Well, so we also did, in the meeting, we did reference Sin City, a couple times because I think it's the best one we've had within, like, the past 50 years. There's been...
Have you not seen Brick?
I don't think so. What's that?
Oh, it is literally one of the best neo-noirs.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's Rian Johnson, which, is a mixed review in a lot of people's books, but it's his first film.
Okay.
It's when he was still on the film festival circuit.
Okay. Stars
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay. Oh, I might have seen it.
It takes place in a high school.
Long hair?
No.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't have long hair?
No.
No, I think I'm thinking of something else, and he's like, he lives in a van or something.
Oh, that's Hesher.
There it is. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So he's the detective archetype in it.
So, okay.
So the whole story takes place in a high school, but it's so well acted and, like, the storyline's so mature, you forget that these characters are all supposed to be in high school.
Okay.
And basically the plot is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's former love interest reaches out to him out of the blue a day before she's murdered.
Very noir.
And then he's trying to get to the bottom of why she was murdered and what happened.
Yeah.
Playing sides against each other. It's a great film.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll look into it. I like a noir. I don't typically like... I was having this discussion with my team. I don't like boy movies a lot of the time.
Okay.
I like boy comedy sometimes. I like all... Like, the Workaholics, everything that they do, I think is amusing. I like... like the Super Bad and the Hot Fuzz, that sort of slapstick. I think that those are boy movies. And then girl movies, like Death Becomes Her or what's the girl? Uptown Girls, that's something that's a different comedy style, it's just not going to have a lot of overlap, I feel. And I prefer girl movies, but I do love a noir. And I think that's a good cross section between interests if it's written well.
Oh yeah, you definitely gotta check this one out. It's one of my favorite movies.
Duly noted.
And I'm of the persuasion like I'll watch almost everything once. Almost. I
Death Becomes Her.
Enjoy the hell out of that movie.
This is a very good film. Very good. It's why Meryl Streep didn't do fantasy for a very long time. She said, "Oh, I'm not doing this nonsensical bullshit again. I would like to act."
That movie's fun. That movie's so much fun.
But they were doing a lot of special effects that A, did not end up being utilized in the final edit, and B, were very experimental, and it took her out of her element. Because she's not a method actor, but she is very much, I get involved in the part, and I want to live in that to some degree on set. And when you're in a blue bodysuit, pretending to be walking backwards because
or you got a hole through you. And...
Yeah, I have a hole in my stomach. It's very distracting. So I get it, but I love it. It's one of my faves.
Good movie.
It's a very good film. Yeah.
What else is on the top 10?
Milena, starring Monica Bellucci.
Okay.
I love any film that's about prostitution. Never on Sunday is one of my favorite films because it's one of the very few where the prostitute gets a happy ending according to Hays Code. If you were not in a monogamous relationship or if you were in any concept infidelitous to your relationship, you had to be punished by like irreparable damage or death by the end of the film. So Never on Sunday is one of the few films that has a prostitute who is happy and gets to have a happy ending and is still a prostitute at the end.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Melina Mercuri, great film. Some Italian, but mostly English. So it appeals to a mass demographic. It is in black and white, but I like that.
I like black and white and subtitles, so whatever.
Well, that's a great film. Yeah, Never on Sunday is one of my favorites. Cabaret.
All right.
Yeah. If you've seen the film, but most people haven't because no one has culture anymore. So,
they have modern culture, whatever that means.
That's not real.
What? TikToks aren't culture?
I mean, I guess it is. It'll be fun to look back at TikTok in its current state 30 years from now. I mean, if we're alive. It'll be really interesting. It'll be really interesting. I've kind of committed to living in my 80s.
My brain says I should do that, and then my life choices say otherwise. So
fair. Jessica Walters lived to 80, and who was it that lived to 85 that I said, okay, I could do that? I don't remember. Or it'll come to me in 15.
Well, we'll circle back to it. It's no problem. I mean, we have a couple more
Elaine
films.
Stridge.
Okay.
Elaine Stridge lived to 85.
Nice.
Yeah, and she was an alcoholic for a long time.
Well, honestly, my theory on all this is it's the stress that kills you, not like the actual
100% cortisol. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you make yourself a low stress environment and you just kind of live as that being your default, I feel like you can stand the test of time.
Yeah, look at these motherfuckers who make it like to be over 100. They're like, I ate a pound of bacon and Jack Daniels. Yeah.
My doctor told me if I don't stop drinking Dr. Pepper, I'll die, and that bitch is dead.
But still.
Cortisol.
Yeah.
Just don't give a shit. I try and tell my friends that because they give a shit, and it bothers me.
And now you're giving a shit because they're giving a shit.
Well, Generous. It bothers me enough to mention it, and then when I feel nothing is being resolved, I just change the subject to Annie Ann's pretzels because they make me happy.
That's your key to immortality right there.
Well,
or closer to it.
Yeah, it works.
100%, it's the stress that fucking kills you.
Undebatable. Yeah, it's cortisol, 100%. Heart disease is like the number one, if I'm not mistaken, with women, thing that kills you. And then what is it with dudes? I don't know.
It's heart disease, probably.
Well, there you go. Protect your heart.
Number one killer of Americans is heart disease and cancer.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Have another drink. Whatever it takes.
Right?
Go for a walk. Ooh. Cardiovascular health, yeah. Getting your steps in. Very good for you.
Yeah, this is why I'm going to die young. Well, I'm too old to die young now. Fuck. This is why I'm going to die midlife.
Middle-aged.
Yeah, middle-aged. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, it's not exactly glamorous, but...
The 44 Club is not nearly as glamorous as the 27 Club.
That's fun.
Is it?
No.
You want the bottle?
No, I don't know what this is.
Oh, that's Malort.
What's Malort? Oh, it's a liqueur.
It is.
Okay. What is it?
It technically is a bitter schnapps.
Bitter schnapps. What is its base? What is it made out of?
An unusual botanical, according to the bottle.
That's what chartreuse. They don't give away the ingredients. My friend was just telling me about this as well. There's a Hungarian one where they don't give away the ingredients either. It's a botanical. But that's why I like chartreuse. It tastes like if you cut the grass, but it was like a really nice day.
Well, it's been kind of a bit on the show for the last about a year now, of doing a shot of Malort as bonus content after the show.
Fun. I should have brought the chartreuse. I'm going to buy another bottle online, but bipolar. I needed it right then.
Hey, there's nothing wrong.
I wanted it, so I had to go out and find the retailer that was going to sell it to me.
I would wager...
Delicious.
I would wager money that the Total Wine up in Glendale probably has it.
No. I called a Total Wine, and they had yellow chartreuse.
But that's not chartreuse.
Well, there's yellow chartreuse and green chartreuse. There's two different kinds.
Doesn't chartreuse mean green?
It's a color, but it's also a liqueur. So I called a Total Wine that said they had it in stock online, and they went and checked. They did not have it. So I called several other random people, and then the guy that did have it was in Silver Lake, and it was a random place. And I went in, I called him on the phone. I said, "Do you have this liqueur?" And he's like, "Yes, the system says we have it." So I take an Uber all the ways out there. I spend the fucking $40 on the goddamn Uber. And then I get there, and I'm like, I called earlier, I would like a bottle of chartreuse. And he's looking over here and can't find it. And I'm like, I did not just spend all this money on a car.
Right.
And I had to cancel my eyelash appointment. So my gal was furious with me because it was taking much longer than I had anticipated. I show him a picture, and then he's like, "Okay, yes, we do have that. There are 2 bottles, and I have no idea where they came from. I don't know why we have them. We don't stock this particular liqueur. We don't keep this in store." And I should have gotten both.
You should have.
I really should have. I actually might go back. No one's got it. I might go back.
I'm Googling places where it could exist right now.
It's not easy to find. It says that there's a few places, but they're lying. It's a lie. I worked in retail. I know what online says,
Right.
and it's usually someone who failed to process a return or something that got stolen by someone who works there.
People just out here stealing chartreuse.
Maybe. I mean, where'd you get that Malert's?
Total Wine up in Glendale.
You could have stole it. I want to see a receipt.
I ate it. Sorry.
Yeah, you stole it.
That's right.
Mhm. It only makes sense.
That's right. I'm just out here like buying expensive whiskey and just stealing fucking Malort.
Anywho.
You're like, oh, let's not talk about Matt's crimes anymore. We're just going to walk away from that. Walk away from Matt's crimes.
The only time I've ever been arrested was theft. It was petty theft.
What'd you take?
Costume jewelry.
Why costume jewelry? Why?
I was a young person. I was young and optimistic, and I thought the costume jewelry would really add to the character. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is this going to build character? And if the answer is yes, because it probably is, you just keep going.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely do stuff for the bit, as I like to say.
Do it for the bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For shiz. Yeah.
Many, many life choices have been like, yeah, I'm doing this for the bit. Doing this for the bit, or there's been times where I'm just like, I'm pot committed. I've already spent too much energy to back out now.
Yeah. It'd be uncomfortable for everybody if you just abandon ship halfway through the bit.
Exactly.
You just gotta go ham.
Yeah, sometimes it's post-nut clarity, and like, I should have abandoned.
Don't get me started on
Oh, no, I want to hear some post-nut clarity stories. I definitely want to hear some post-nut clarity stories.
Oh, man. The dissolution of one of my oldest friendships was because of post-nut clarity. We went out one night. I had gotten off of work. I was still in my uniform. It was her birthday, and we went to the club. She was so obnoxious and so just insufferable as a human, as a lot of people in Florida are, that I was just like, okay, I got to go fuck somebody real fast to get over this nonsense. So keep dancing in the center of the club isn't even there anymore. What was it called? Something Latin. And then I go, back in the day, it was called Atom for Atom. I don't even know if it still exists, but it was a lovely app or a website for meeting people to have casual intercourse with. And I found someone, and it was very apparent upon entering said premises that he was not of sound mind because of meth. And there's signs. And we did the thing. I didn't even take my clothes off because I was just like, this needs to happen quickly. I just need to get this out of my system. And the smell was just so horrendous that I was like, oh my God, I'm done now. I need to go. I've come. You're gross. This is disgusting. I need to leave now. Get back to the club. I realized there's shit on my pants.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Anal's complicated.
It is what it is. As I tell people all the time, just take a shower. Just got to get your clothes out of the way.
Anal's hard. Anal's not easy. I have a lot of respect for the cis girls who do anal scenes. I haven't done a ton because it's a tall order. And just because you're an adult film doesn't mean that you should be or that you're good at it.
True.
Anal's hard. I've only done a handful of anal scenes with cis girls, and I got a lot of respect for them because it's not something that comes naturally. There's a lot of
prep.
There's a lot of figuring it out for yourself because you can read as many articles online as you like. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
No.
Yeah. I've been asked a lot of questions over the years on how do you get ready, and my system is just simply going to be different than everybody else's.
Yeah, but the tried and true is the gummy bears. And
yeah, well, you know what? I don't know a lot of science to support that, honestly, because science says that it takes 3 days for you to from the time that you eat to the time that you go to the bathroom. It takes 3 days to fully process.
Not my body.
Well, I know that's metabolism and all that, but yeah, I have my system, and it's taken me the 3.5 years of me being in porn to figure it out. I wasn't on my A game at the beginning because I come from a stripping and escorting background. I was very happy to be in sex work. I'm an outlier, not the standard.
Not the survival sex worker.
No, I did it because I thought it looked like fun, and I like money, but I like not worrying about it. I'm not a collector of money, as I find a lot of people are. A lot of people are collectors.
They're dragons trying to hoard that shit.
They are dragons trying to hoard that shit in their G-Wagons, but I have no interest in such endeavors. I, however, was able to get into sex work and figure out how to bottom despite not really wanting to, because I've always been more of a top my entire life, just in order to make it work. And then I started porn and I realized, oh, I have to be able to bottom for 8 hours at a time because no one knows how to do their job.
And with people that might be hung like my forearm.
So not in trans porn too much. Everyone's dick is generally either average or above average, but no one is a horse. That none of the men that do trans porn, thank goodness, because that would just be a whole liability in and of itself.
True.
But there are a couple guys that are a little on the larger side that are cumbersome, but I find having a good rapport with someone makes all the difference for making a scene enjoyable. And it reads, even if they do something called man blanket, where they just sort of become a duvet over the action and you can't see anything.
Well, that sounds like bad porn.
Well, but it feels good. What looks good on camera does not feel good. What feels good on camera doesn't look good. Did I say the same thing twice? I meant to reverse it, but you understand the idea.
I understand the idea. I preach this shit to people all the time. Like, porn is supposed to be aesthetically pleasing because it's for the audience. It's not for the performers who are performing.
I think that some people are allowed to enjoy themselves in porn. I think there's like 3 main individuals who get into porn. One would be the individual who has to get external validation because they didn't get it when they were younger. They were a former fat kid, or they were just weird or ugly or what have yous. And then you have the individuals who are like, I'm a stallion. I'm so good at having sex. I'm so good at having sex. I should be paid for it. You shouldn't. And then there's the last one who are like sociopaths, and they get into porn because they're like, I can monetize this. I look a certain way and I can make this my job.
I have never thought of those people as sociopaths.
You haven't met the ones I've met, I guess, then.
Oh.
Well, they know how to monetize their aesthetic. And not all of them are sociopaths, but some of them are. And they...
Well, yeah, but all those categories, some of them are.
Well, there's also overlap because I think I'm somewhere in the middle of the 3. And I'm comfortable with that. I like what I do, which is why I do it, but it is a job. However, I still derive some semblance of enjoyment from some days. And it's taken me time to get there as well, because there's been ebb and flow. When I first started, it was all about, oh, I'm really good at fucking and this is fun. And I literally would just like pop half of a Viagra and I'd be good to go. Now, with how strenuous these scenes are that we are called to do sometimes, which are obviously written by people who have never actually had sex. It's impossible.
Way to call out Montreal. Way to call out Montreal. Jeez.
It's simply impossible to do it without chemical assistance.
Yeah.
So, Trimix, which is the injectable version of Viagra, I guess you could call it. It's a mixture of several different ingredients, and you inject it directly into the muscular tissue of your penis. It's the only way to do it because you have to be hard so long and do such unnatural positions for extended periods of time. I don't know how people are able to do it without. I know a few who are, and they are monsters.
Well,
in the aspect of that they are capable of feats, unlike that which of a unicorn or a dragon. Not that they're bad people. They are lovely people, most of them.
Well, on the side of the house, I like to say about male talent is like, if you're an old school male talent who doesn't need chemical assistance, you're the type of person I could be like, go fuck that brick wall. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go fuck that brick wall. It just, there's just something.
I love sandpaper. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Their brain is just wired differently. Like,
yeah, they truly are. Certain people are supposed to be in porn.
Yeah.
Back in the fucking 70s and 80s, they didn't have Trimix. I don't even know if they had Viagra. Certain people were just built different, and people who are supposed to be in porn find their way into it. If you're not supposed to be in it, don't force it. You shouldn't be in it. You need a therapist. You don't need to have a sex addiction on camera.
Some people don't really grasp what they're getting themselves into.
That too. Well, those people who need the validation externally, it's so unfortunate because it's so obvious in person, but it doesn't always read online because there is a persona that has to come into play. But it's just so, disheartening seeing those people who are like desperate for the gratification of being told. That's why I don't really fuck with award shows so much. I love the idea of them. Like, okay, good job. You did a lovely, good job this year. That doesn't translate in person, though.
No. Well, and back in the day, the awards were honestly much more important because they went on your box covers. It was a marketing,
Hey.
it was a marketing ploy.
That makes sense.
These days, it's just tradition.
Yeah.
And I wanted to circle back real quick. There's a fourth type of performer, which generally doesn't last very long, which is the person who was turned out by a partner.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Oh, no. It's sad. It's horrible. And they generally don't last unless they get free of that monster and fucking fall into one of the other categories. But like,
I've never met one of those.
Oh,
that I know of.
I've met a few in my time.
See, transport's very insular. It's still such a political industry, which is so obnoxious because, anything that they use to justify their antiquated methodologies is very easily disproven by science or common sense. But
Whoa, common sense is not common.
So it's really frustrating, but it's still very insular. So I only work with, for the most part, queer women and dudes who've just lost their give a damn, that's who is in trans porn right now. And then a handful of trans women who are just cool with doing the damn thing and being our own bosses. And then some who are just, dicks. But every industry has a few, just assholes who rise to the top.
Well, unfortunately, and especially because this has been an outlaw industry for so long. And people still treat it like that when a lot of people don't.
Well, thanks, Texas. Yeah. Treat it like an outlaw industry. According to
well, we're back to it. We're back to
according to legislature, it is.
In a lot of places.
Weird.
I know.
So weird. I was downloading porn on LimeWire. Like,
risking computer aids for that? Wow.
Yeah, well, it was a Mac. That feels like something. I don't know. I think that
it feels like wearing a gas station condom.
Like a garbage bag. I never take the condoms from the testing place anymore because they're always like fucking Ziplocs. They're the thickest plastic you can find. And they're so, I've had more damage done to my hole by a condom that didn't fit than by a very large penis.
You would think the testing place would have the thinnest condoms possible. They want repeat business.
It's a free place that I go to. I go to a free place for personal life because I get tested regularly regardless.
But it's free for you. They're still getting funded from somewhere. If they get repeat business, they get more government funding.
Right.
Nothing's ever actually free.
You're right. When you're right, you're right. But I get tested a lot, regardless as to whether or not I'm working in studio. I like to know my status within every 2 weeks, just as a basic.
You out here getting it in on your own time?
Here and there, not as much as I used to. I used to be, as described prior, rather ravenous. And I've calmed down.
But why?
HRT mostly. A lot of self-actualization and realizing that your dopamine doesn't have to come from, fucking. Doesn't have to.
Oh, fuck. Really?
Damn it. You get it.
Damn it.
But yeah, I've slowed down a lot because hookups aren't as fun as they used to be. One-time things don't have the same allure. there is something inherently erotic to me about having a genuine connection with the person who I am engaging in relations with, which I think most like pro-monogamy people have been saying for many, many years. However, I don't believe in monogamy because anyone who has a penis just simply does not have the ability to think with one head.
Wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think dudes preach monogamy because they're just like, they think, I can't do any better.
Oof, toxic. Oof. Woof. Continue.
Their self-esteem can't deal with the idea of their partner getting some action.
Oh my God, it's so obnoxious. It's so exhausting.
But that's my thought process on
No,
why.
you're right. I was talking to someone for years, honestly, off and on. And that was the main gripe for many years, was the fact that I don't like the idea of you having sex with other people who have penises. And I'm like, that's so weird. I like your penis. I don't want another penis in my personal life. This is my job. It's
Right.
like going to the gym, you know? I'm always proud of myself after. I'm better off after doing the deed, but it's still hard work the entire time I'm working, you know? There's parts that are enjoyable. When you get done with the Stairmaster, you're like, fuck yeah, the adrenaline that you have is exhilarating.
Right,
But
and-
it's not the same as like a conquest. So we just couldn't find common ground on that. And at the end of our, situationship, I was willing to make compromises despite, I know I've seen so many cis girls do it. Okay, fine. I won't work with men anymore. It's fine. I'll just do lesbian now. And those people infuriate me just because I hate performative lesbianism.
Well, and also
It reads so obvious that you're doing this for someone else as opposed to yourself. People like Anna Fox or Maddie May or Charlotte Sin, where it's obvious that they're queer. It's fun because we have fun. This is fun. It's supposed to be symbiotic. This isn't like performative.
right.
It's a performance, but it doesn't have to be completely inauthentic. And that's why I like working with those individuals, because there is a sense of understanding and camaraderie and authenticity to the interactions. And I can't stand behind at this point in my life gay for pay. I just can't. I don't like it.
Well,
It bothers me.
And especially if it's happening because some exterior force is like, oh, you can't have a penis in your life. Like, that's even more toxic.
It's so frustrating, especially because, like, with that guy, I liked the idea of sharing penises with him, but or sharing a vagina with him. But it just ended up being like a understanding of, we do not have the same core fundamental values or, beliefs, and that's okay, but we can't be together because of that.
Well, and it's good you recognize.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good you recognize that.
Yeah.
The way I normally pitch monogamy to people is like, would you be upset if your partner got a massage?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some stranger touching them, giving them pleasure.
Okay.
Like, no, of course not. They're getting a massage. So what the fuck's the difference?
The part of the brain that's receiving the pleasure.
Oh, it's still physical pleasure.
I agree. Yeah. It makes sense. It's a good parallel. I just feel like people, so you have, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have a lot of different things that need to be met, as a human in order to be at peace. And to be so presumptuous as to assume that you are going to meet someone who meets you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and then you're going to be the direct answer to all of their emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual needs. It's really presumptuous.
Right.
That's a lot of puzzle pieces that need to fit together, and you don't it's not your responsibility to be the exact inverse of someone else. That's literally creating a false person, you know? And if you're just trying to fit someone else's emptinesses or whatever.
Well, and forcing it will just lead to nothing but problems.
Also, yeah, well, that's where a lack of communication and, you know, a lot of fights are centered around is that people are not willing to compromise on, okay, I can't. Relationships are not 50-50. Sometimes they're 60-40, sometimes they're 20-80, sometimes they're, you know, you have to meet people where they're at. And sometimes I feel personally that emotionally, that's what is necessity in order to make a relationship work. You have to meet someone where they're at as a person. Sexually, I feel like we're so fluid and we have so many different interests and they're constantly undulating. We're constantly finding new things that are of interest and evolving as sexual beings. To assume that your physical form, your skin suit that you're wearing is going to be everything that your other person needs, I think is just irrealistic. And that's coming from a trans person who only has a dick and a butt. I don't have a vagina. I like vaginas. They're lovely. And I can understand how a straight man can prefer a hole that's essentially, you know, always available as to a butt. Which is not always available.
I mean, I think it's
as long as you don't mind period sex, which as a queer person, I don't mind period sex.
I love it.
I think I've had more period sex than I have it, honestly. For some reason, my cycle just syncs up. Well, I don't have a cycle, but everyone else's cycle syncs up to me as a human. And I've had more sex with sponges on set than I have not.
I mean, in real life, I just put
sex with someone with a vaginal sponge before.
I have.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, in most cases, I just put a towel under their ass and we just go.
It's romantic.
Oh no, I feel.
I'll get the nice towel.
I feel like a man when we're done. It's like blood from here to here. It's like, yeah,
you won.
I'm conquering
together.
It's like some Viking shit.
Probably we should read some Viking shit. I've got a people I can call.
But yeah, I've never been afraid of it. It's just like, and I understand if my partner's like, well, I feel unsexy. It's like, but let me help you feel sexy. Like, but if you're still not into it, cool.
Yeah, it's all about the, you know, equal expression of the same energy. If one person isn't into it, then there's no necessity for the other person to.
Right.
And that's why I feel ethical non-monogamy is just a ethical thing to do. It just makes sense because for me, para mí, I liked the idea of my partner who I am emotionally, spiritually invested in, not putting the pressure on me to always be ready to top or bottom. You know, sometimes you just got to get it out. And I like the idea of them being able to express that. It's literally just masturbating, just there happens to be someone else involved. You know, there's no emotion attached to it because that was the parameter that we had established as a healthy boundary.
Right.
And I feel like that's healthy.
But there are fucking people out there that think looking at porn is cheating or masturbating is cheating.
Those people need a therapist.
Well, everyone needs a therapist. Everyone.
There's not enough focus on mental health in our society, and it's unfortunate.
Well, yeah.
Everyone would benefit from talking to a professional. However,
a good professional.
A good professional. I just called my insurance company yesterday because I said I needed cognitive behavioral therapist who takes my insurance, and they sent me a list of 702 people in my zip code.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, this is helpful. I could have also just gone outside.
Also,
want myself maybe.
702 of them, they can't all be good.
That's the point. Yeah. I literally am looking at a list of Just names, numbers, practices, and emails, and just hoping for the best. I emailed like 4 of them because I got overwhelmed and I haven't heard back yet.
I mean, it's crazy
I
because
don't know how this shit works. It's exasperating.
you could end up with a therapist easier than you could end up dating somebody. Like you go on a first date with somebody and then be like, "Fuck this, I'm out." Like, at what point do you like, this therapist sucks?
True. Yeah. Well, I do take their bios seriously. I read too deep into the details, and that's my only way of having informed, decision-making skills. If the one lady I was looking at, she went to school in Mississippi, automatically red flag. She had a license in family and marriage counseling. And I was like, okay, well, I'm one person, so something about that seems I'm not 3. And then 3 people. And then there was another thing that bothered me. I want to say, I don't remember. But it's just like I looked at every single little itty bitty detail and I was like, okay, so I guess this one's a no. And I just kept going. And it was just such a long list. It's so hard to find a therapist.
Like, they need to set up Tinder for therapists.
No, I'd pay $99 a month for that.
Just like bio, swipe right.
Insurance companies need to get wise.
Right?
If they want money,
they do.
Well, they already charge so much a month. Oh, health insurance. We live in a weird country, huh?
No. This is America. We're number 1.
Right. You're right.
I almost said that with a straight face.
Yeah. I just feel like mental health is a little bit more accessible in some other places.
Just a little. Just a little.
I don't speak towards things that I'm not informed about, so I can't explicitly say whether or not that was an accurate description or not. But I think I'm right.
I'm going with it.
Yeah. I believe me.
You said it confidently enough. And that's sometimes all that matters.
Truly.
It's amazing how much you can get away with in life by just being confident with what you say.
I've got away with too much by being confident in what I say. People instinctively believe what I say, even though I don't know what I'm talking about 75% of the time, because I just say it without a question mark at the end of the statement.
See, I'll just say a lot of things with question marks. They don't know which ones I'm being serious about.
Fair enough. The Kardashians have corrupted my generation, so everyone ends everything with a question mark, and if you just choose not to, people trust you.
I know. It's wild.
It's wild. Yeah. Whatever, I don't mind being stronger and more decisive than others. What I do mind is when people don't take accountability for their actions.
Whoa. Accountability in modern America? No. Whoa.
I say what I say, and I'm going to say it for me. But if you do exactly whatever nonsense I'm talking about and then blame me for your actions, I can't help but feel that maybe you should take some, re-registering of your
I wholeheartedly agree. And this is why I regularly tell people to not listen to me on here.
Fair enough.
You should not take my advice. I think it was Newsweek did a poll. 34% of people polled just believe people with podcast equipment.
That makes sense.
They're just like,
they paid enough money. You should listen to what they say.
Right. They're reputable.
Yeah. Literally, George Santos did a interview with Z-Way, and Z-Way asked him, how do we get people to stop listening to you? And he said, stop booking me for this shit.
Right.
And they stopped. I haven't heard anything of him in the past couple months, and I felt so much better about it. It's brought me peace. If you don't like what someone is saying, if you don't like what someone's posting, if you don't like what someone is doing with their career, stop interacting with them.
Shh, that's a lot of my traffic. There's a lot of my traffic.
I mean, fuck those guys. They're awful. They're the worst.
Yeah, scream about it in the comments, please. Please.
I think plastic is awesome.
Microplastics are
More
my friends.
microplastics. Yum, yum.
Yum. Num, 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 num.
Oh.
I believe abortion should be mandatory.
I'm going to compost this when I get home.
Gonna compost the abortion?
No, my plastic.
Oh.
I do wonder, I know that it doesn't contribute to the like greenhouse gases and stuff, but I would like to just have more bonfires of things I don't want anymore. Wouldn't that be nice if you could just, because I thought, why don't they take that island that's in the middle of the ocean of all the plastic garbage that's just sort of accumulated and then just put it on a ship and launch it into space? Would that not be better?
Yeah,
Would it come back and bite us in the ass?
probably.
Well,
Well,
what if they land it on Mars? What if Mars just becomes our new garbage barge?
you know there is so much debris in space right now around Earth that it's
Are you
difficult.
serious? Oh, that's news to me.
Yeah, there is so much debris around Earth right now. It's actually difficult.
Things more.
I could be completely wrong here, by the way. Like,
I thought, well, I was believing you. You have a mic in front of you.
I know. See, you're in the 34%.
I'm used to being the 1%
You're
of trans people on the planet.
oh, I was like,
you thought something else.
yeah, I thought you were an outlaw motorcycle club.
Jealous. I have some Harley Davidson riders in my family. I come from a long line of drug abuse and alcohol.
Just thought of the wackiest idea. The 1% of the 1%, the trans outlaw motorcycle club.
That could be. Well, actually, come to think of it, I think Casey Kisses did a film about that a couple years ago, as a matter of fact.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm derivative.
Well, can't help that other people are creative.
It's true. It's parallel thinking. It's not me stealing it.
Exactly. Let's just give credit to artists. You know?
Right? There's nothing wrong with having parallel thinking.
Yeah.
There's wrong with theft.
Yeah. 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 I don't have to dispute that. I agree. What is it, the phrase that you use? I wholeheartedly agree.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yes.
There you go.
Shit. Have I been saying that a lot? Fuck.
Oh, I noticed.
I do. I agree.
Good. I'm mixing.
You're mixing. Have at.
Well, now, so this is a cocktail that I've just invented. It's a mixture of chartreuse, Campari, vodka, ginger beer, and lime.
There we are. As long as you're enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Delicious.
Awesome.
What's Campari?
It is an aperitif, I want to say.
I don't know what that means either.
It is a liquor that's supposed to be as part of an appetizer.
That's why it's so sweet. It's like, it's not syrupy. Chartreuse is almost syrupy.
Yeah, it is an aperitif. I knew, yay, I know my alcohol. Yeah, because there's in the like liqueurs, there's aperitifs, which are supposed to be part of the appetizer, and then there's digestives, which are supposed to help you digest.
Oh, like a Kahlua?
I don't know if digestives, like Kahlua is technically a digestive.
What's a digestive? An example off the top of it.
Off the top of my head, I mean, I think Malort is technically a digestive.
This is becoming more and more interesting to me.
Well,
It's made in Chicago.
Oh yeah, it's a Chicago bar scene thing.
Okay, that makes sense as to the label.
Yeah, that's why it started happening on the show. One of my former guests who lived in Chicago for a little while found out I'm from Chicago and brought a bottle. And she's like, why are you not making people drink this?
Bitter taste. I like bitter. I often say that my bitterness is my best. Obviously I don't often say it because I can't get it out, but I use bitterness to my advantage.
As you should.
People like to say like, oh, she's bitter. I use that as a way to propel myself forward. I use it as a way to shape my opinions and to make my life better, as opposed to just stewing in my own bitterness. I use it
as motivation.
As an artist.
Yeah.
It's my motivator to become better or to do things differently because people are shit at their job or just in general not good.
Well, thankfully, people will continue to be shit at their job. Otherwise, you might, have to worry about losing that edge at some point. But that's never going away. So
True dat.
people are never going to. Competence is not coming back. I don't know if it ever actually existed.
I'd like to think it did. In a time when things were simpler and you didn't have the perfectionism that's possible with like HD and editing that we have now, there was a higher standard for your artistry. And now I don't think artists are gone. I don't think that there's less of them. I think that the standard has become lowered and it's harder to find people who have raw talent.
Well, I'm not even sure the standard is lowered. The barrier of entry is lowered.
That would be a good way to describe it. Yeah, I agree. The barrier of entry, anyone can be a celebrity, can be a singer, can be a songwriter, can be a podcaster, can be a.
I was about to say that.
Anyone can be anything. However, if you stand out above the rest, it speaks towards not only your ability, but it could also speak towards like whatever assets you're using in order to propel you above others. I've seen so many people who are just heads and tails above the rest, better singers on TikTok who don't have albums, who don't have record labels, but are just better than Dua Lipa. Just arguably better. Why are they not getting the same treatment that she is?
Well, as I'd like to say when I worked in music, because I worked in music at one point. Oh, I mean, not like successfully. I just worked in music.
Well, you don't have to put that parameter on it.
Oh, why? I'm going to misrepresent myself and be like, I was a crazy record executive. No, I ran an indie label and...
Someone will believe it.
I'm not here to lie to people.
Creative truth-telling.
I ran an indie label for a number of years.
True dat.
And what I used to tell my artists all the time is, it doesn't matter if you have the best sound in the world. If no one knows it exists, it does not matter.
Yeah.
And drive will get you further than talent any day of the week.
Now, that's 100% true. And I know it because I have very little drive.
Oh, you have a lot of awards under your belt.
I earned them.
Well, yeah. But for someone who's just self-admittedly like, I have very little drive, you have a bunch of awards.
I have a good team. And I'm grateful to them. If it weren't for Erica at The Rub or Howard at Fab Scout, I would probably be at my house right now drinking a Rasputin by myself.
Well, I mean, you definitely would be because Erica booked this.
Exactly. Well, that too. But she does so much more than just, making sure that I'm talking into a microphone, even though I probably should be in bed. She does a lot of things on my behalf in order to make sure that we both are taken care of, and I'm grateful for it. I've built a team, and I'm continuing to build my team. It's a upward battle. It's not something that just is done.
Oh, it's never done. And that's smart content creation in the modern era. You have to have a team around you. As someone who does everything for himself, it's exhausting at times. And there's times I
can't even begin to imagine. I won't.
Yeah, it's exhausting at times. It's fucking exhausting. Like the minute we wrap here, I got to go right back to editing something else. Like the second you were out the door, I'm going to be in front of a computer.
That's why my father started doing crack. And I empathize with it. I just don't agree with it. Hot take.
Well,
he doesn't do crack anymore.
Is he dead?
No, he's just fine. He learned his lesson. Prison isn't always bad. It usually is, but it's not always bad. Well, my father, once again, outlier, not the standard. Good guy.
Well, I mean, there is like a 38% of people that don't return to prison after doing a stint, so...
Hey, he's in his 50s. Hey. Don't think it's happening anytime soon.
He might get bored, rob a bank.
He's tired. But also works too much. He doesn't have the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, generally, if you successfully rob a bank, it gives you some time off.
I'll have a call.
I am not endorsing bank robbery. I'm just saying, they generally don't catch you on the first one.
We'll give him a call.
They don't generally catch you on the first one unless you fuck up.
Max? I'm waiting. Categorizing.
Tequila.
No, thank you.
You have a whole handle of Tito's there.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I am enjoying the mule that you made mixed with my concoction.
You're just admiring the other alcohols on the table.
I just, it's so visually stimulating.
Like all the bottles that he didn't bother to pick up before you came over.
Is that what it is?
Yes, very much so.
I like it. I
It's,
just thought it was creative decorating.
no, it's mostly just, this is what other guests have been drinking and it's left on the table.
That makes sense. I was intrigued because I saw someone that you had on was drinking out of a mason jar. I wasn't sure what your glass situation was.
Oh yeah, no, the mason jars are sitting in the cabinet.
It's fun stuff.
You gotta have fun, like alcohol glassware.
Might I urinate?
Of course.
Thank you. I think I'll go pee.
And we're back from urination refills and all that fun shit.
I feel better.
Excellent.
I'm lighter.
Don't float away, please.
No promises.
Erica's gonna be so mad at me if you float away.
She'll get her check.
You think she only cares about her check?
Absolutely not. She likes me as a person. We go painting at Color Me Mine.
Really?
Yes, I'm invited.
That's awesome. I just get drunk with my publicist.
Good. That also works.
It really does.
Drunk with my agent. Howard is a good time gal. Howard likes to have a good time. Everyone should subscribe to Fab Scout on Twitter because they sell poppers. And where else are you going to get them?
I mean, it's LA. They're readily available, I'm pretty sure.
Subscribers.
Oh, my bad.
They don't know better.
Poppers, they're very, very rare. Very rare.
Yes, they're so hard to find.
They're rarer than diamonds.
Oh my goodness. Where are you going to get them? Fabscout.com.
Right?
Yeah.
They super do not have them locked up like De Beers has diamonds locked up.
Isn't that weird? I went to a sex store once and I was with a guy and he said the word poppers and they refused service to us because he said.
What was he supposed to say? VCR head cleaner?
Correct. Yeah.
Why did I know that off the top of my head?
That's what it's marketed as. It's DVD cleaner, it's CD cleaner, it's nail polish remover sometimes. But yeah, you can't refer to it as something off color, such as poppers.
I have never
store.
I have never taken a popper in my life, but I just knew that off the top of my head.
Well, because you probably got a couple bottles. People tend to leave them behind.
No one's ever left that here.
Breadcrumbs.
No one's ever left that here.
Pity.
Like,
they're fun from what I understand. I just don't like the feeling. I tried it once and said I didn't like it, and I haven't gone back.
So what's the feeling as someone who's never consumed them?
So what it does is it restricts the flow of oxygen to your brain or something. And then I'm a doctor, and it gives you this discombobulated, dizzy feeling. And what it does, as someone who receives the benefits of poppers without doing them, is it makes the person's holes open up, so everything is just more relaxed and stuff can happen. I used to do makeup years ago, and my lady client, she was asking me if I knew what poppers were, and I, sort of was playing dumb, and I'm like, what are you talking about? She said that she would do them with her boyfriend when they were about to come because it would make them just feel they were on another planet. And it just gave them this euphoric sensation that was very brief. Because that's the benefit of poppers, is that it is brief. However, I still don't really condone it. I don't like it because it's a crutch. And it's something that some people utilize in order to get ready to bottom, whereas pardon me, I've had to learn how to do it and open up, because that's a huge component of bottoming. Anal sex in general is being able to relax those holes so you are open. And I do that without drugs or chemical assistance.
It really just sounds like bottled, erotic asphyxiation. Like, it sounds like a good choking would, if it cuts off just oxygen to your brain.
Yeah, but I think that's going through this way. It's oxygen in your blood.
I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
I'm not a doctor.
You just said like 30 seconds ago you were. I can go back to the tape on that.
Good luck figuring out where the button is.
I know where the button is. I haven't drank that much yet.
I don't.
Good.
Good.
I don't need you coming over here and slapping buttons and being like, I did not say I was a doctor, and just have half the show's deleted.
Yes, and
oh yeah, this is just a 2-hour-long improvisational sketch. Like,
basically,
you're not telling.
I've learned post tense. Steve McQueen. I don't like that movie.
You don't like The Getaway? Oh no, that
boy movie.
Oh wait a minute, that's not The Getaway. That is.
Yeah, it is the.
Oh, it is The Getaway. I was thinking of Bullet.
Hmm.
See, I don't think movies are. Yes, there's an intended audience, but like I don't want to generalize it like, oh, this is a boy movie, this is a girl movie. Like, I'll watch a rom-com.
I won't. I explicitly despise rom-coms because I think it's exploitive of an audience. It's like, so with American Horror Story, I feel the first season was the one of the best out of all of them because it established a Ryan Murphy archetype for his future endeavors. Ryan Murphy had been a producer for many years prior. However, American Horror Story was a standalone horror TV show, which is something that's not very common. And with the first season, every single episode, something happened. Every single episode, someone died, new character was established, and there was a rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. Every single episode. Now, it's all just edging. The entire series is just about like, ooh, what's gonna happen the next episode? And there's no like resolution to the episode in and of itself. It's all rising action, and then the climax is whatever, and there is no falling action. It is just resolution, which is oftentimes not very fulfilling.
No, they just want to keep you coming back week after week to see.
It's abusive. It's exploitive of the fan base.
Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Fair. So I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. My uncle was really into it. I do watch One Piece, however. And One Piece I have the same gripe with, actually. It's that it's all rising action. And then the climax is over a span of like 5 episodes. And then it's just moving on to the next thing because they can't get enough. We're hoping that One Piece does get a resolution soon, though. We're hoping that there is an end. I don't read the manga, but I have a couple friends that do. And I have 2 different opinions from 2 different ends of the spectrum. And they both think that maybe it's coming. Maybe.
Well, and this is the problem with comic books in general. Mangas, Western comics, whatever. You cannot tell a compelling story for 40 years.
Arguably you can because they are, but I don't agree with it.
But they're telling it.
I don't think it's compelling. I think it's frustrating.
Well, it's frustrating, but also, how many people are they telling that story to for 40 years? Like, how many people have? Like, I was a big comic book nerd in high school.
Okay.
And then I checked out at some point because it was just like, man, they're retconning shit to try to like.
I think that's your experience, but it's also a very valid one that happens often.
Yeah.
I do, however, feel that a fan base is a fan base, and I still am invested in what the Spice Girls are up to.
Well, because they're fucking interesting people.
And it's an interesting manga, I'm sure. But I think a fan base is a fan base, you know? My good friend who's really into One Piece has been into One Piece since it was a thing broadcasted on TV, you know, and now we follow along as adults. And if you're interested in something, there's a possibility you'll always be. I didn't watch the new Charmed reboot because.
Why would you need to?
Precisely. Loved the original. Loved the idea of a continuation of the original. However, doing it over again and then doing it poorly based on the reviews.
Well, this is my
doesn't
problem.
Sound interesting.
This is my problem with most of mainstream Hollywood shit these days is Hollywood is not willing to take a financial risk on new IP.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
And then the new things that they do are quite good, I find a lot of the time. What's like a ooh, should have come more prepared, but I feel like the original content that has been made, that's not just like a rehashing of something that's been done or a retelling of an old story, I feel like has been rather entertaining. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fun.
Oh yeah, well,
that was a story that's already. It's kind of like a retelling of history, but it's done with a creative spin. I think that was fun.
But that's like Tarantino is like one of the few voices that Hollywood allows to make original IP on a large scale. As much as
he's
Quentin Tarantino.
Well, he's doing all that foot stuff with people,
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd hate to think
on it.
I'd hate to see what's on his phone.
No, I don't want to be on his phone.
But as much as it turned out that James Franco ended up being problematic, it was why I was supporting like most of the stuff that Franco and Seth Rogen were doing, because it's like, I may not like a lot of this stuff, but it's at least original IP.
Yeah. I like to separate the art from the artist. I feel that art is intrinsically infused with emotion, and to invalidate people's emotions by saying the trigger, the center source of that emotion is bad, is really stifling to people on an emotional and like a psychological level. And the way that R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly makes you feel should not be invalidated because of what he has done. The way you feel is still valid, and you're allowed to have that joy and that childlike, aspirational beauty that is imbued with those lyrics without having it clouded by his misdoings.
I agree.
And
unfortunately, I think a lot of people that say that, oh, we got to cancel these people because of their art, because of who they are.
That you whispered that.
I didn't mean to whisper it. It just kind of happened that way.
Cancel these people.
Cancel these people. I feel it's performative in a lot of cases.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see that. I think it's trying to you're staying the course. You're just trying to be a part of the mass conglomerate of opinions, and it's performative. Yeah,
because for fuck's sake,
that's what it is.
Harvey Weinstein is a monster. Are you going to stop watching every Miramax film?
I mean, oh God, what was that? Oh, I literally just watched one, and I was like, Weinstein.
Oh no.
And then I was like, well, I'm still going to.
9 out of 10 Quentin Tarantino movies were put out by Harvey Weinstein. 9 out of 10.
Makes sense. Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah. Miramax is a prolific.
I don't like Sleepless in Seattle. It's a rom-com.
Well, you said you don't like rom-coms.
I don't like rom-coms. I like a film with a story. If romance is a component, then I'm fine with it. But I don't need it to be the central through line. I don't need it to be the entire film.
So Miramax has the unrivaled Miramax collection contains 700 titles. Has received 278 Academy Award nominations and 68 Oscar wins, including 4 Best Pictures. So if you're like, fuck Harvey Weinstein, he's a monster, which he is, but that is a lot of art, and a lot of art that has very much contributed to society that you just have to be like, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to enjoy it ever again.
That is prolific.
I think art is a standalone entity you're allowed to enjoy objectively.
Well, and also, historically.
Also, with our modern day sometimes you can pirate it if you don't like the person who's distributing it.
Fair. But also,
I've done it.
oh no. Historically, how many great artists were actually fucking monsters, but because it was not in modern times, it may not have been as prevalent to, understand that.
Ooh, never thought of that. Well, I don't live in the land of shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Well, I'm saying, like,
Of the land of what if. But yes, you're absolutely right. What if Da Vinci was a diddler? You don't know.
could have been.
Could have been. I think he invented an airplane at some point.
Well, but it's also unfair to hold things that happened in the past up to modern light as well, especially when it comes to art.
Yeah, the objective of point of view of what is right and wrong has changed dramatically
Yeah.
over, just the past 50 years, let alone
Hell, in the last 20.
1,000 years. Yeah.
In the last 20.
Yeah, the fact that I was doing a lot of things at 17 apparently now is very bad. That's news to me.
Well, and
then also, my friends who weren't even alive when the Twin Towers were a thing were so much worse because they had Twitters. I didn't even know what Twitter was when I was in high school. I didn't have a Twitter. I didn't even know, if I had a thought worth sharing, let alone an entire platform dedicated to it. They had Twitter. I won't say who. They had Twitters. And they didn't even have the ability to, I don't know, go to middle school. They were children. It's just such virtue signaling.
oh yeah,
These people who want to have such strong opinions about something that they just truly have no cognizance over. They don't. They haven't been there. They haven't done it. They haven't.
well, they want to belong. So I feel like some of it is for someone trying to get a sense of belonging. Like, oh, if I virtue signal with what these people I like are doing, I belong to that tribe, to that group.
Yeah. Weird.
Human nature. Real.
Yeah. Assimilation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we as a species are very adaptable, but yet very stuck in our ways. And there's still a lot of stupid tribalism from when resources were scarce or some shit. We had to fight each other for them. Ain't been that way in a minute.
Well, I mean, you're taking it way back, but yeah, bringing it back to current day and times, absolutely. We're still dealing with it in the industry. People who are just weird about anyone who deviates from the norm of what we as them as cisgendered heterosexual people believe to be normal and part of the course,
In my time in the industry, there was definitely a point where the idea of performing with a trans performer as from the straight side of the house would definitely get you blackballed. You just
Brittany Andrews was the one who really helped inform me as to the complexities of the industry and how it was formed. And I'm so grateful to her because she had to deal with a lot of adversity as a cis, blonde, beautiful, big booby, curvy lady was dealing with all kinds of adversity because she was pegging people with a dildo. And she had to deal with nonsense. That's insane because the industry inherently is racist, sexist, not open to any sort of discourse regarding what's currently happening or is normalized within the industry in and of itself. And, as far as sexuality goes. And this cisgendered, heterosexual, blonde, blue-eyed woman is dealing with the same bullshit that we have to deal with simply because she's deviating ever so slightly. And she explained very beautifully how hard she had to work in order to just monetize the thing that people already want.
Right.
People want this. The numbers don't lie. That's why I'm very grateful to have the awards that I have, because 2 out of several were just fan voted.
Right.
I mean, with the amount of data hacking and nonsense going on online, to win a fan voted category means so much to someone who is a recluse. And I am the brown recluse. I'm an Auburn recluse, and I don't want to be all involved in the industry and the hobnobbing. I just want to be in my house and drink some tea and
tea.
have
tea.
Ginger, turmeric, a little elderberry. I actually do drink a lot of tea, but in any event,
I'm teasing.
I like a twisted tea every now and then, but it's too much sugar. It's too much sugar.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. This is why I just drink whiskey on the rocks.
But yeah, winning a fan vote, it's such a long journey that we've come to that's an option for people like me,
Well,
and it means a lot.
No, it's fucking important. It's great. We unfortunately are historically in an exploitive industry.
Yeah.
Because it's not like this industry was founded by sex workers.
Yes, you're correct. But I want to harken back to those times. So the reason I got into sex work is because I care about sex work as a whole. I love sex work, and I understand and I empathize with people who do it for survival, but I'm one of the outliers who did it because they love it. And I want to facilitate a healthy environment for those people who want to be in it or who are just in it for the short term. And there was a time when sex work was moderated by sex workers. That did exist. The Old West was formed because of sex workers. Minors would move out west to, get their claim. I'm going to file my claim.
Fame and fortune.
Yeah. Well, not fame, but fortune. Absolutely. And then what would happen is there would be all these men in camps out digging and doing their thing. And then the gals realized all those men are out there by themselves. Let's go meet them where they're at with their newfound money and, just make a way for ourselves. So prostitutes historically were not the most beautiful women of society. They were industrious women who said, I don't have a lot of options, and that looks like one, and I'm going to utilize it.
Well, it's the world's oldest profession for a reason.
And then they built banks and grocery stores and all these different establishments around the camps that were instituted because of those industrious women who decided to just move out west and follow the gold, as it were. And the brothels and the sex work capitals, as it is, idealized, were always run by women. It wasn't until kind of the turn of the century when, the mafia and gangs and men as a whole sort of realized, look at all the money that these women are making.
Right.
That things sort of changed because brute strength, what are you going to do when someone's got a fist in you?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's people tend to forget that a lot of the patriarchy in historical times has been based on because we can be violent.
Yeah. Well, so I don't love the book, but it has a lot of really solid points. But The Art of Seduction, the core concept is that seduction was created because women did not have brute strength. They didn't have the physical strength, so they had to figure out a way to gain an upper hand on the male predominant. So they learned how to seduce through various aspects of just presentation. And a big component of the art of seduction is you can't have a strong moral opinion on how these aspects are portrayed because it's immoral inherently to manipulate someone through physicality or through mental manipulation. And I don't inherently agree with the book, but it does make sense because it's all about manipulation and just mental gymnastics, you know? And I find that a lot of sex work is revolved around just meeting people where they're at. So, as opposed to manipulating someone, I choose to believe that I'm a happiness consultant, and I'm assisting them in whatever fetish they're exploring or physical attraction that they haven't fully conceptualized as to why they like it, you know? Um, I love what I do, and I find a lot of people love what I do as well, and I think there's a lot of middle ground as to where what I do is totally moral and normal. It's been in existence for hundreds of years, if not like a few thousand,
I mean,
at least.
sex work has existed as long as there has been, something to trade for goods and services.
I haven't seen the cave paintings, but I believe it.
Well, it has to have.
It has to have. I'm listening.
It's just, it's human nature. And unfortunately, like, a bunch of dudes just, like, get fucking upset about shit they can't control. Like, oh, these women are, taking control of their sexuality and having upward mobility. We can't have that.
Google did a study as to what the difference between cisgendered heterosexual men's porn viewing habits are and cisgendered heterosexual women's porn viewing habits are. They found very conclusive evidence as to what the difference was. Women are cerebral. If you've ever been with a vagina, I would hope that you were aware that they are very intrinsically connected to the brain. And there's a lot of social cues, auditory things that you can do, emotional things that you can do in order to help the person with said vagina feel more turned on. Just being connected, foreplay and what have yous.
I'm well aware. I'm not a beautiful man. I've had sex before.
Thank you. So,
just,
women, mental. That was the thing that was found. They like a lot of erotica and what have yous as far as porn goes. Google found that men, all visual cues, all of their erogenous zones were visual things that they were perceiving during the consumption of adult film. And a few of the main things, I think the top 4 were boobs. They wanted to see boobs. They wanted to see butts. They wanted to see feet, specifically. Top 3. And then they wanted to see dicks. And all the people in this study were like, well, what the fuck is going on? Why are you looking at dicks? Are you looking at dicks? Like, who's looking at dicks? Why are all these straight people looking at dicks?
Well,
what's all this dick looking at about?
Obviously, because otherwise solo content would be king.
Or lesbian.
Right.
Or girl on girl, cis girl on girl. Why are all of these people looking at dicks? And I found in my experience, which parallels to what Google found, or the group that was putting on the study, is that penises, according to cisgendered heterosexual men, are not inherently masculine. They are sensual. They are almost like totems. They're individual entities that are observed from a objective point of view, because a lot of cis straight men who watch porn put themselves in the place of the person.
Okay, I was just about to say that. Like, yes, 100%. Like, I am fantasizing that is my penis inside someone.
Most of the time. However, some people are able, especially those who have been consuming adult content for an extended period of time, are disassociating the penis from the person and just looking at it as a separate entity, which is why Futanari was one of the, I think if it wasn't one of, it was the top searched category on Pornhub last year. Futanari is a category of adult entertainment that is cisgendered women who have penises. So it's fantasy. That is also, because it is fantasy, not real and based on me. So, your second top searched category in the world is based on people who exist and they are me. And that's weird, but just, accept it. But, we're not talking opinions, we're talking numbers. So trans porn was also one of the top 5 search categories within the last year. Numbers, sorry. And then if you look at a Venn diagram of the states who have the most conservative legislature happening in their local government and the states who are consuming the most transgender porn all over across the board, it's not a Venn diagram, it is a circle. And it's really frustrating, that we're having this conversation in 2023 when we fought for civil rights. We've got, marriage equality. We've got
For now.
Quasanel was married to a man in 1963, if I'm not mistaken, and she was the first trans woman to ever actually receive a marriage certificate to a cis man. But there's just, it's all just history repeating. It's all such nonsense that we're even still having this conversation, because the more you put a spotlight on it, the more people want to try and have a vibrato about their neurosis. If you have to yell at me about your opinion, it's very obvious that you're doing it because you're not sure.
Wait, shit. Do we have to redo this whole podcast? Fuck.
People who feel the necessity to be like so anti something.
Your existence doesn't harm anyone.
Depends who you ask. J.K. Rowling would disagree.
Well, fuck her. I mean, don't actually.
I wouldn't.
Don't actually fuck her. Like,
I wouldn't.
But I'm saying,
I fucked people who look like her.
Were you wearing a scarf while you did it?
Silk.
But at the end of the day, you're a human being, and you're not harming anyone by your existence. Like, why the fuck would we want to legislate you out of existence? Like, if someone forced you to, present as a cis male again, that would be hell, right?
Well, it'd be awkward. A lot of people would be very uncomfortable. That's why I find it so comical, the whole bathroom bill thing. Like, we're not even talking about me.
Right.
With titty and ass and all that jazz. Have you ever seen what a trans man looks like?
Mm-hmm. I've had trans men.
Can you imagine this 6-foot, burly, bearded, fucking XXX trans man or Victor Belmont taking a piss next to your wife?
Yeah.
That is insane. That's absolutely crazy. You would be okay with that? No. That's a man that will steal your wife. That is a man who will absolutely know how to please your wife if they so choose. They won't because they have standards.
He knows how to eat pussy.
Well, I've always said the people who have that genital know how to address it. And I learned, and I just, reiterated that to myself last night. I was fortunate enough to have a gentleman friend over who had a penis and knew what to do. It's very nice when that happens. It's not often, but it does happen. People who have that genitalia very often know what to do with that.
Right. They know what feels good. They know what stimulates what.
Yeah. Well, they have a familiarity with
Right.
the anatomy.
Because, like, me and Pussy, trial and error. There was some
Trial and error.
I will apologize to anyone I fucked in my teens and my early 20s. Unfortunately, you were part of the trial and error.
Yeah. I feel like I was better before porn because I feel like porn almost made me more methodical and mechanical, and it's has to be somewhat performative for the camera.
100%.
There was a time when I was a lesbian during all of like 2021. I only slept with women of various
That's so recently.
calibration. Yeah, but I started porn technically in 2020. And then for the entire time of me starting porn, it might have been 2019 actually. Might have been before. It was because I was on Tammy. There was an app that was for trans people. And I met someone on Tammy. And it was in 2019. They wrote an article for Autostraddle about it. But in any event, yeah, I was only fucking people who identified as women at the time. And I learned more about sex during that year than I learned in my entire time in adult film. I've learned nothing about sex during porn.
Well, no, you learn what looks good on camera.
Yeah, it's all performative, which is shitty because I don't like having sex as a spectacle. I like having it because I enjoy it. But
off camera, that's fine. On camera, the job is
the job.
Right.
You must do what you must do. And I've learned to assimilate to that. And I enjoy the aspect of being able to monetize what makes me happy. And that's why it feels like the gym. It's, it's work, but it is work at the end of the day. You gotta just accept it. But before porn, I was learning so much. I was learning like how the inner workings and the outer workings of the vagina worked and how orgasms were or sex is a journey, not a destination was something that someone explained to me once. And that really resonated. It doesn't have to center around the orgasm. It doesn't have to be centrifugal to the ejaculation because I was having dry orgasms for 2 years. I started taking DHEA, which is a hormone optimizer, and now I ejaculate again. It's a fun fact. Who cares? But
what, are you enjoying ejaculating again?
Yeah, it's really fulfilling. But now I get to have the same internal joy with a solid orgasm that is internal, and I feel it in my toes with the added benefit of ejaculation happening sometimes, not always, but sometimes. But fucking lesbians changed my life. It helped me understand how sex can be enjoyed as a journey as opposed to like, oh, let's make each other come. It's not feasible for some people to come with someone else, and it puts a lot of pressure on people when the operative concept is to just enjoy the experience.
Oh, I hooked up with a girl a couple times who legitimately wouldn't leave my apartment until I came.
Aw. Too much pressure.
And I have a problem, like, and this is well documented, like, if I've had too much to drink, I have no problems getting it up. I have problems popping. So she legitimately just hung out until I was sobered up enough and was ready to go again, till I actually popped. And then, like, less than 5 minutes after me coming, she was out the door.
Interesting.
It was just, she just felt like she,
That's her, well,
she just didn't feel like she had done her job until I came.
Like a ghost. She had unfinished business.
I think it was just something with her ego. It was just like, this hurts my ego if I can't make this dude fucking come.
I've been there for sure. Yeah. But I also, in my years on earth, have learned that some people, it just simply is not, don't take anything personally. That's one of the 4 agreements, if I'm not mistaken. Don't take anything personally.
I've never read that book.
Me either, but
I'm
I saw
illiterate.
it on YouTube yesterday.
Nice. It's the best place to learn things.
Yeah.
It is not. It's not. Because this is on YouTube and don't learn. I mean, you can learn some things here, maybe.
You could learn how to make a Rasputin. It's not as much Campari as I put in mine because it's not supposed to be orange.
That was not orange.
It was orange.
Am I colorblind? Fuck.
It was a Rasputin is supposed to be somewhere in between these 2 colors. Like a milky green.
That was definitely not milky green.
No. It's supposed to be more chartreuse.
I saw it more reddish pink.
Yeah. I put too much Campari in it. Don't put so much Campari in your Rasputins. That's the goal for today. And if you can do that, you can do anything.
That's not true.
Isn't it?
No, that's super not true. Super not true. I cannot dunk. Wow. Just called out on that shit. There was no hesitation. No hesitation. Like, yeah, no one is surprised that you can't dunk.
Is this on YouTube?
I mean, eventually, yes.
Good.
Eventually, this will be on YouTube. Not right this second.
Good.
Did you not think it was going on YouTube?
I don't know. I actually haven't watched most of my podcasts. It would probably be good research if I were to actually, circle back at some point, figure out what I have said and haven't, double check.
I will confidently say that you will have said things here that you have not said on other podcasts.
Oh, cool.
Well,
I
now,
don't like Steve McQueen.
well, he's dead, so you don't have to like him.
Shouldn't speak. You should not speak ill of the dead. You should only say good things.
Why? Just because they?
No, that you. Hold on.
But why?
Betty Davis said, "Joan Crawford is dead. You should not speak anything negative of the dead."
Well, yeah,
but she's dead.
But it's Joan Crawford.
Good.
You
should only speak good things of the dead. Joan Crawford is dead. Good. That was the joke.
Okay.
I missed it.
It's all good. No, now once the joke has been explained, they're like, oh no.
Jokes are only good if you have to take at least 4 to 5 minutes to explain them.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's my whole career on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, what people don't realize in post is I'm removing all the joke tutorials that happened during this podcast.
Pity.
This podcast is actually 6 hours long. I've been explaining everything I've ever said. I'm just cutting it all out in post.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, yeah, you had to sit through it. I understand why that was your response.
I'm here. What's that shot we're doing? What's that about?
You will find out.
Cool.
But speaking of which, it is time for last call. So we're going to call last call. We're going to wrap the actual podcast, and then we're going to do that shot as bonus content.
I don't think last call is resonating with everybody else.
Well, just the 2 of us is the only people it has to resonate for.
Max!
He's just been lazy this whole fucking episode. I'm going to have to replace him.
Good help,
right? Well, to be fair, I hired him on TaskRabbit, then kidnapped him, so.
My friend's been fucking the TaskRabbits that she gets.
Really?
I'm really jealous, yeah. Well, there are people on, that's the new frontier, I think. Because Rentman doesn't really work anymore. I've been on Rentman. It's shit. But
I don't even know what Rentman is.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
TaskRabbit, however, I have one on my phone that I screenshot because I found it so comical. His ad as a handyman was literally him saying, I can last a long time. I can, it was insane. And it was a headshot. It was his headshot that he had. It's prostitution. And my friend has been fucking them.
Well,
I need to hire. I learned this is a new development for me.
I'm just saying, someone should definitely make a scene or a series of, fucking the TaskRabbit. Like, it's the new pizza delivery guy.
Well, you would have to change the name for copyright reasons, but yeah.
Rabbit Task, whatever.
My benefit bunny or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something. Work on it.
We really are going to call last call. We're going to wrap up this podcast.
Yeah.
Ariel, where can they find you on the things?
I'll Google it. Ariel Demure. Just Google it.
Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah. Well, I'm on everything. I have a Reddit too. I haven't started using it.
Well, go,
follow a couple people on it.
Earn some karma on the Reddit.
That too. Oh, was I supposed to plug something? There's a... I'm supposed to be doing.
If your publicist was here, she'd be yelling at you.
No, she doesn't have a website or anything.
No, she'd be yelling at you about what you're supposed to be plugging.
I don't remember. Google Ariel Demure. It'll be good.
I agree. Until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.